Well, Kiera, it's so nice to see you. Thanks for your time. We just want to ask you a bit more about your story, if that's okay. And I wonder if you could start by telling us a bit about who first inspired you to play football.
Yeah, I think obviously when I first started playing when I was younger, it was probably my dad. I'd not been coached until that point, so it was definitely him. I just always saw him watching football, and he used to watch it on TV all the time, and I always wanted to do what he was doing, so I used to sit with him and watch. And I think it then just developed from him taking me to the field to then joining a team. And yeah, I think it was probably mostly down to him that I wanted to play football, to be honest.
I've heard you talk a lot about your dad, so obviously he's played like a really big part in your journey.
Yeah, he has. Probably, we don't really talk about it that much. I think he'd get embarrassed, and he doesn't really like to take. Well, he does like to take the credit a little bit, but yeah, he was probably my inspiration when I was younger. I was always a daddy's girl, and I always wanted to impress him, and I think I kind of just picked up the sport that he watched the most. He also wanted me to be a golfer, so I had golf lessons for a little bit because he plays golf. So yeah, I think most of the sports I did was probably because of him. Obviously got to give a shout out to my mum because she won't like it, but she used to give me the lift to training and to games. She'd always like sacrifice a little bit of her time in the evenings to drive me all the way to Blackburn, which is about an hour away. She would have no dinner. She'd just have to make me my dinner in the car, and then yeah, she'd just be driving me. So yeah, I think they both played a massive part, to be fair.
How's your golf now?
Not played in a very, very long time. Last time I played was with Leo Williamson, actually, a very long time ago.
So apart from your mum and dad, I wonder, can you chat to us a bit about who else has helped to kind of nurture your talent over the course of your career?
Like Nick Cushion was probably the biggest one for me, I think. He probably developed more how I wanted to play football and how I see the game. I think a lot of that comes down to him, and obviously having him from like the age of 17 years old and him giving me my debut, and he had so much confidence in me, which gave me so much confidence in myself. And yeah, I think he gave me a lot of opportunities that you probably wouldn't get nowadays in the WSL. So yeah, I've got to massively thank him for that. And I think, yeah, just the way that he wanted to play the game, and yeah, he kind of instilled that in me, I would say.
What's the best advice that you've been given along the way?
I think it's probably from Nick. I don't even think he probably remembers saying it to me, but I remember I was 17 and we had the Continental Cup final, it was back then, and we were playing Arsenal. We were massively the underdogs. It was our first season as a professional team, and I'd like joined halfway through. I wasn't even expecting to play, so I told my mum and dad not to come to the game, so they didn't even come to the final because, yeah, I just thought like it's a long way for them to go and I'm not going to play. And then I remember he pulled me aside and I told me I was starting, but I think he was just like saying like no matter who's playing, like I know Kelly Smith was in the squad at the time, and he was just like, she can't control how hard you work. Like she might take you on, and you know she's like England's probably best ever player. And he was just like, yeah, she's going to have her moments, but she can't control how many times you come back and try and win the ball, and she can't control how hard you run and how hard you work. And yeah, I think that's probably something that stuck with me. And yeah, he probably doesn't even remember saying it, to be honest, but yeah, it's something that stuck with me for a long time.
On the subject of advice, I wonder, what advice would you give to your younger self if you're chatting to her now? What would you kind of pass on?
I think maybe just enjoy the moment a little bit more. I think when I was younger, I really got caught up in winning and trying to win trophies, and I think like if you're consistent and you build a good foundation, then that will probably come anyway. And I've been lucky enough to win trophies with some fantastic clubs, so I think just be a little bit more patient and yeah, just enjoy the journey a little bit more, I would say.
You talk about winning trophies, but are you able to pick a career high so far? Is there one moment that stands out for you?
Yeah, probably two. I think my first professional trophy with City, I think winning a trophy as an underdog, it's just a different feeling, and we never expected to win that. And I think I was playing with like 4 of my best friends at the time. We were all like 17, 18 years old, and it was just, I think the vibe we created off the pitch, that was a really, really special trophy for me. And then, yeah, probably winning the Euros the first time at home in England, I think is a pretty big one.
The first time was at the Swiss, and then the second, yeah.
I think just having it in England, playing Germany at Wembley in the final, and having like all of my family and friends could come to that one. I think it's not easy, you know, to get to a Euro final in Switzerland. It's expensive, and yeah, I think having all my friends and family there and the after party and everything, it was really, really special.
What a day.
Yeah, it was.
And while that's your highest, are you able to share with us maybe what the lowest moment might have been? Or some of the challenges that you've had to overcome along the way?
Yeah, I think like football is full of highs and lows throughout the season. I think like to pick one thing is probably quite difficult. I think obviously like injuries is not ideal, and being out for a long time and missing a lot of football, you know, like nobody wants to go through that. But I think just in general, like when you have a bad game, I think football's a really fickle sport, and I think footballers get a lot of hate for just having a bad game, and I know like at the end of the day it's just a game of football and no one goes out to have a bad game. So I think even throughout the season it's very up and down depending on what form you're in, but I think sometimes fans don't realise that if they stick with the players a little bit more, then they probably will be a little bit more confident to go out and have a better game.
And no one likes to have tough times, but I know that's often where we learn the most about ourselves or the people around us. So is there a lesson that you've kind of can take away from some of those challenges?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, like I said with Nick, he was always just so like confident in me and everything was really positive. And I think up until maybe my first World Cup, I hadn't experienced anything really that negative. So I think for me it was just learning that football is a game of opinions, and ultimately the most important opinion is your teammates and your manager, and yeah, just kind of shielding from the outside, because no matter how you play, you're always going to have someone who doesn't think you're good enough. So I think just having that confidence in myself and the confidence from the people around me is the most important thing.
When you have achieved so much, just finally, can you just talk to us about what's still left for you to do and what's still driving you now?
I think it's just my enjoyment for the game. I think I just love playing football. I love trying to work out the pitches and, you know, like doing specific things in training I really enjoy, and I feel like that's probably what gets me out of bed in the morning, to be honest, is just coming and playing the game. I've just loved it ever since I was younger. And yeah, obviously I would like to win a Champions League with Chelsea and the World Cup with England. I think those are two big trophies that I would like to add to the list.
Exciting. It feels, from this conversation, I guess you're riding the wave, the ups and the downs, and just trying to enjoy it along the way. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think like that's probably in my character anyway. Like I am quite consistent. I wouldn't say I ever get too ahead of myself or too low. I think just trying to stay balanced, and I think we're probably the luckiest people in the world to just play football every day and get paid for it. So just not take that for granted.